Hey everyone, this is Albert Fillion from originalintent.co.uk with another soundbite of things that I've learned from my clients that hopefully inspire you in terms of your own humanity. So today, a little soundbite is about boundaries. Now, a friend of mine the other day asked me about boundaries and how me and my partner navigate it, because my friend mentioned in his experience it feels like he really wants to give generously, and he wants to give of himself and feel in a sense of he's quite supportive and helpful and kind and compassionate. So boundaries to him feels a bit like a restriction of his generosity and his care. And he just wanted to get our take on, how I view it and how we enact it. And it made me think about boundaries in psychology. We often, if you think about boundaries, we often talk about it when the boundary is either too open or broad or non-existent, that we tend to give too much of ourselves or we let a lot in, or when the boundary is too rigid and it feels like there's a sense of inaccessibility or guardedness or can't quite get to you. And it's the way that I make sense of it that feels very much in line with how we're designed as humans, is that boundaries operate like a cell. If you think about the cells in your body, the membrane of the cell needs to have just the right amount of porousness, if you want to call it that, letting certain things in and allowing certain things to go out, while still maintaining a sense of boundary in terms of not letting foreign particles into the cell to maintain its own well-being and health. But a boundary isn't actually something that we necessarily need to enforce or restrict. In my experience, a boundary is more an indication, like a signal. So instead of trying to work at your boundaries, what I'd ask is, if you notice or someone else notices that you don't have boundaries or that you're very guarded, the question isn't around the boundary. The question is around what's going on the inside of the boundary or outside of the boundary that's creating this rigidity or creating this porousness. So that's how I often come back to my own sense of boundaries, because I'm, as an Enneagram type 4, and the different Enneagram types also have different patterns in terms of how they boundary themselves. As an Enneagram 4, I can tend to be quite guarded or overly guarded, and then people feel they don't really have access to me. And I know that when that happens, something's going on for me in terms of my sense of feeling safe, my sense of feeling comfortable and open to the people around me. So instead of thinking about the boundary, I come back to what's going on for me that's impacting this boundary in that way. So yeah, that's my little soundbite on boundaries. I hope that was helpful.